Okay, we might have to make another change here. Somebody drew to my attention the fact that possibly I wasn't selecting the right shade of gray here, and I checked the paint chart that Trumpeter sent along with the model, and it turns out they're recommending XF22, not the 66 that I had chosen in yesterday's episode. So right now I'm on the website for from the Hood Society, and they talk about something that is called here. Let's get it about in the center of the page. It says Hood was painted in the Royal Navy's Home Fleet Standard Dark Gray shade for the bulk of her service. Okay, so Royal Navy's Home Fleet Standard Dark Gray shade. Let's see what we can Google on that. Okay, I can't right click on this and go right to Google because this particular web page is not set up to do that. So we're just going to have to do it manually here. This may not be definitive, but we might be able to find something here. Okay, Royal Navy 1944 to 45. Well, that's pretty close. Now here's the dark gray, and here's the blue gray. This doesn't look very blue, that's for sure. This photo here of the hood, it does look blue, but then that might be taken off of that video that we looked at yesterday. Now I don't know what to do already. A lot of these things, when you click on them, they don't really enlarge. They just Royal Navy colors, World War II. Let's see what happens here. Once again, it's not definitive here. I'm seeing over here. I'm looking over on the upper right-hand corner here, and I am seeing grays that do look a little bit like the 66. That's for sure. Well, I guess I'm going to have to think on it here. I don't think it'll be if I do the wrong one, I don't think it's going to look bad. I think either one is going to look good. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. As one of the viewers mentioned, they're all battleship to him. Well, it's kind of that way to me too. Anyway, we'll think of something here before the end of the video. Okay, a little bit of time has passed here. The XF22 that Trumpeter is recommending as one of the shades that we can get away with, well, that's this one right here. It's this color right here. And I gotta tell you, this is sorta how I feel right now. Ugh. Yeah. Oh boy. Now I know you can't see it because I've got it all covered up with plastic here. But the 22 is what we used right here. I'm thinking now that being as that either the 66 or the 22 would have been fine, why don't we just go with the 22? It'll match up with what I've already used, and yeah, let's just go with the 22 and be done with it. It'll be fine. After all, Trumpeter's recommending it. Okay, here's a brand new one, never been opened. 51.1 or 2. Another brand new one, never been opened. 51.8, so that's 0.6 of a gram difference, but that's okay. Now, this one here is the last one we used when we did the Bismarck, and it is 42.7, and this is the one that we used just a little while ago on the hood. 44.3. So there's about equal amount left in each one of these. Now my thinking is, why don't I try and join these together, see what happens. I know it's not a real good idea because if there's any little lumps in there, they'll plug up the airbrush, but yeah, let's just see what happens. Now I was just thinking here, how much do these things weigh when they're empty? $38.3, 38.6, 38.5. Well, I guess we can probably figure the average would be about 38.4, 38.5. Yeah. After I'd shaken these two thoroughly, I put them in one of these empty jars here. And the reason being is there's a lot of grunge around the edge there. I wanted to have as little of that as possible. Start off sort of fresh. We'll remember that this is, it says 22. I guess I could write it on the jar too. 48.3. And full was 52, or thereabouts. So we're almost full. Now what I did do was I thinned this out. I hope I haven't thinned it out too much. Now a few minutes ago I was cleaning out those two empty jars and thought I may as well salvage them. And so I was rinsing them out in water, and then I realized I had another one that I had some stynol resin that I had thinned out, I guess when we were painting the black boot line around the outside of the hull. And I thought, well, I may as well clean that out. There's hardly any left there, and I was trying to hang on to it. So I dumped it and rinsed it out with water and so on. Everything was going good, and I was noticing it wasn't really washing off the way the XF paints were. So I thought, well, I'll get the good old reliable Windex. That always dissolves the paint, right? But it doesn't. The Windex does not affect this stynol res the way it does these Tamiya paints. There's something in the stynol res carrier, I guess, that is a little bit more, durable, if you want to call it that. And the stynol res and the Windex does not seem to want to dissolve it. Anyway, right now I got everything soaking in boiling hot soapy water. We'll see what happens after a few hours. So I was just thinking here, what good did all of this fooling around that we just did here, weighing these jars empty and full and so on? Well, we know that there is supposed to be 10 milliliters of paint in each one of these jars. At least that's what it says here, 10 milliliters. I got a feeling there might be a tiny bit more. However, that's good, right? At least they're not trying to cheat you. However, we know that if 1 gram is 1 milliliter, or 1 milliliter is 1 gram, we could weigh the jar and find, and if it said 45 and it was supposed to be 52 when it was full, well, we know that it's, we've used about 7 milliliters of the fluid, in other words, or paint, in other words, about half of it. But there's also variables. This doesn't have the label on it. The label weighs something, so that's going to change it. And then some of these jars, the inside here, this seal is different on some of the Tamiya caps than others. So there might be a slight difference there. Now, you know what? Why couldn't you just take the cap off and look down inside and see how much you got? Yeah, that'd work too. Okay, right now our two bow turrets, stern turrets, are directly in front of the center of the air intake here. And the idea is I'll spray these two. I'm just doing a dry run here to make sure this is going to work. Okay, now the two bow turrets are in the center. Yeah, I think that should work okay, and it's lots of room. It's not going to end up falling off the end. Moment ago, I got a delivery, and tomorrow we're going to have a box opening. It'll be sort of interesting, and it's kind of related to something we were talking about, 2-3 episodes ago. Anyway, before I spray, I gotta make sure that this is down all the way along. Otherwise, the overspray is going to go through and down the other side. So I must be mindful of that. Now, I was just thinking, I've got a lot of this kind of tape here. Why don't I take advantage of that and just let it overlap just a little bit. I don't have to stick it down very hard. Makes sense to me. Just enough here. There. Well, did I really need to go way down there? I wasn't thinking, was I? always like to clean my airbrush as soon as I'm through using it. I've always done that, so I don't know if it makes any difference or not, but it only stands to reason that if I clean it, the sooner you clean it out, the easier it is going to be to clean it out. Now, I removed the green tape here, as you can see, and I've got a very distinct transition from the plastic to where we got the number 22 on the deck. And I'm afraid that possibly when I go to put my deck tan on tomorrow, that it's going to show through. And I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I'm going to just see if I can't sort of feather that out just a little bit. Remove some of this. This may not be a good idea. Well, we'll see what happens, I guess. I'll just go around and do the other 3 sides like that. Just so it's kind of feathered out, and then there won't be the distinct line. Well, makes sense to me anyway. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. Hopefully there will be so much other stuff on the deck all over the place that in the event that there is a bit of a noticeable transition on the deck tan, the other stuff that's on the deck will distract from it, like the turrets. People are going to be looking at that. I should have thought of that. Anyway, we're going to let this dry really good now. And I think that's about it for today's video. So thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.